Welcome to your morning cup
with iBenz Academy.
I'm Ash.
I'm Kara.
For Kash.
Hey. Ashley, you're back.
I'm back.
Yay.
If you were here last week, where was I? I was in Arizona. So we got to do the podcast over Zoom.
Yep. Been traveling the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There's been a lot of travel. Like way more than what I'm used to. I traveled to Canada, traveled to Arizona. And I mean, travel from the peninsula is like a day to get anywhere, even by plane.
It's literally longer to go to the airport than it is to fly.
Yeah.
The flight
it was
itself.
longer to get to the airport in Seattle from here than it was to take the flight to Arizona, which is several states away.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's quite an ordeal. It's like traveling internationally every time.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what happens when you live in the boonies.
Yes.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but also, I mean, the perks are beneficial.
Oh, yeah. Those are the trade-offs, right?
The
trade-offs. Don't have to deal with as much stuff.
Yeah. And at least there's no difference in time zone with Arizona. So that helps.
Yeah. Wasn't it like an hour difference?
No, it's the same time.
No daylight savings.
They don't do daylight savings. Yeah. Which, by the way, I really appreciate. Shout out to Arizona. And I think there's a few other states that don't practice daylight savings, meaning they don't change the clock with daylight savings, and thank goodness.
Yay, good job, collectives.
More of us should do that.
Don't do that. I think Hawaii and Arizona. I don't know about Alaska.
Maybe Utah might be another state. There's a couple others.
Yeah. I know we've talked about that with Inelia in the past, and it's basically like done to just mess with the masses.
It throws your system off because your body gets in that rhythm, and then all of a sudden, like, if you are now waking up earlier, it's like you have to wake up earlier. I don't know. To me, it just like throws my body off for at least a week, if not more, trying to get used to that.
Yeah, it's like this subverted way of, telling the masses who's in control. And also, I remember reading...
Keeping us a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I remember...
There's a little victim-aggressory stuff we might have to process around that.
But even then, I remember, like, years ago reading about all these statistics around how usually, like, car accidents are worse the next day, or, like, heart attacks. Like, there's a lot of, like, stress that comes with it.
I believe it.
That, literally impact people in a negative way. So
I never understood it. Why do we have to change the clock? Why can't we just roll with the rhythm of the earth and it's like in the sun and how it naturally moves? It's just like
that'd be too high frequency.
Oh, light dark paradigm. Don't rationalize it.
Exactly.
That's what it is. It's just, don't try to rationalize it. It's not about making sense.
No.
Okay,
just the light dark paradigm. That's it.
Yes.
So good job.
But there's been a lot going on here, right? Like, well, I mean, my experience of reality right now, there's just been a lot going on. Starting a new job, traveling. There was a loss in my family. Like somebody had passed away. There's like just a lot happening, and with a lot. Sometimes you can have that feeling of overwhelm.
Yes. This, I have to say, is like a recurring program.
Yeah.
That it's like, I make progress and then drop. And then, make progress and then drop. It's like this, peak and trough roller coaster. And, clearly that's like a signal that there's something to look at and process. But it's still a recurring theme. So one of the things I've been looking at is like, okay, how is the feeling of overwhelm serving me, right? Why, and also, what is it like? How does it give me pleasure, right? Something like that. And yeah, it's quite insightful to look at that and see, how is it serving?
Right.
So
totally.
Long story short, to limit power and keep me in the dark light paradigm. Yay.
We're working on it.
Yes.
Work in progress.
Yes, work in progress.
Yeah, I feel like for me, this overwhelm feeling, it's not even, I don't know, like it is partially overwhelmed, but I think it's like a physical fatigue is really like, because mentally, I don't feel like it's all too much to keep up with. It's more just like, I'm tired. I'm exhausted physically. And then from a perspective around like the emotional mental aspect of it, like there might be a little bit of fatigue there too, but I think it's just the taking that in breath. that's what I really need to be focusing on right now, incorporating that. Like I've done some travel. There's going to be more travel next week. Mm-hmm. Fun times. We're going to have a bachelorette party for somebody. Yay! But, it's like, like all of these things are great. And I honestly, everything I've been a part of and traveled with and whatever, like I'm grateful to have done it. And I'm glad I did it. It was like the right thing for me to do, if you will. But yeah, there is an element like, okay, so I'm somehow neglecting my body in this way.
Right.
Right. And that's where I think it really comes from my physical body is like, I'm done. Mm-hmm. So I'm listening. Yeah. And instead of getting sick or some other thing that she might have to do to stop me, it's like, okay, what can I do now to start taking more in breaths and not have everything be an exhale and out breath where I'm doing and creating and engaging rather than just stepping back and receiving and relaxing and settling in a little bit.
Yeah, that's been a common theme for me too, is like making sure I take time to relax in a way that is recharging for me. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there's like this program that I have running where I like have to constantly do because there's so much that has to get done, right? But it actually affects performance, right? Like if you're running on fumes and not feeling good and healthy and recharged, the output of that work actually won't be very effective because we're not like feeling our best or have high engagement and all of these things. So I've learned, especially the last couple of weeks, that in some ways it's better to like slow down and pause so that I can rest and recover and then do the projects that I need to do rather than like constantly going, all the time. And even though it seems like I'm slowing down, the output at the end of the day is actually way better and more effective. So it's almost this like counterintuitive reality, right? Yeah. Where I think it's, going to put me behind, but it actually puts me ahead.
Yes.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel it like oh no, I can't take time off, or pause things or whatever. So there's some resistances there to process. Firewalls, fears, things like that to process with the tools that we have, the fear processing exercise, the firewalls exercise. I'm also reminded in what you were saying before too, like how is this serving me? Like what's the benefit I'm getting from this? Like why am I creating this in my life? It's a limitations course. Yeah. Right. And so looking at that, it's like right now, what is this? How is it serving me? It feels like it's like a knock reality. Okay, you gotta slow down. You gotta like give yourself space to mourn, give yourself space to, settle in with a new job, give yourself space to rest your physical body and whatnot. So yeah, I think there is definitely some elements to it serving me because then it's making me like, I'm not going to take on anything new, right? Where actually, I was going to start teaching new yoga classes and all these things that were going to come up. And I'm like, I'm stuck on the flyer. And why am I stuck on the flyer? Because right now it's just like that, the resistance of, I don't want to take on anything else right now. Yeah. Nothing more.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a good point. It's like, how is this limitation serving? And a lot of insights can come of that, but also it's good to be aware of some of the programs we have running that maybe we want to keep and maybe the ones we have running that we're not even aware of. So relatedly, when I was looking at how is overwhelm serving me, what came up was almost like this bad habit of challenge, like making things difficult. Like in order to be really good and productive, it has to be hard, has to take a lot of time, and it has to like, be difficult. Right. And it's, a bit of a hero's journey thing, which I know I've been a fan of for a long time. Yeah. But I think, do you remember what podcast or article it was where Inelia was talking about, it can be filled with ease, and you might have a challenge, but it can be filled with ease, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what it was called.
We'll look it up and put it in the show notes. But long story short, it's like things come up that, are difficult. Like, let's say a couple weeks ago, I had to solve a tech problem. I had to figure out how to use AI to auto-translate from Romanian into English with our testimonials video from our instant manifestation workshop. And had to write code and figure out the system to get it set up and, working. And there were limitations with the file size and all this stuff. And I was dreading this project. I'd putting it off for maybe a week or something. I was just oh my God, it's going to be so hard. And I was wait, no. What would it look like? There's a daydream, right? What would it look like if this was easy? And then I also flipped my thinking around, okay, it's a challenge. There's a challenge here, a challenge of how to use AI to translate from Romanian into English. Okay, let's do this. Let's make sure it's filled with ease. Right. So when I went into that consciously, it everything clicked into place and the universe reflected that back to me, right? Yeah. And I also made proactive steps to make it happen. And so I did searches. I asked for support. Thanks, Inelia, by the way. And all these things, right? And so what a week before had been this overwhelm, oh my gosh, I don't want to do it. And this dread. And then I was wow, this is expelling a lot of energy that's one, not productive. 2, pretty low frequency, very victim-y, right? And all this stuff. And I was okay, it's a challenge. I don't know how to do this, but it doesn't have to be hard. But it's a challenge. Yeah. So what would it look like if it was easy and filled with ease? Right. And then boom, 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 it happened. Yeah. And it was incredibly satisfying, figuring it out. It took maybe 4 or 5 hours, honestly. But it was really satisfying when it was done. And I was yes, now I know how to do this, right? So it's that. It's first becoming aware of, in this case for me, overwhelm and dread and I don't want to do it. And then, okay, well, how is this limiting me? Well, it wasn't getting done. And 2, just feeding that energy bundle, right? So did some processing around it, but then also taking that tool of all right, let's have this filled with ease. And it just lowered the pressure. And honestly, at the end of the day, it didn't take that long. Right. But in my head, it took, or before I'd done it or started, it took, days or weeks or whatever. But actually it didn't. So
the whole point of the daydream is that it brings you to the feeling, right? When you're asking, what would this look like if it was filled with ease? What would it feel like if this was easy, if this was filled with ease? The whole point of this and what's taught in the iBenz method is that feelings are the brick and mortar of manifestation of reality, right? So shifting from, which is such a great example, that feeling of overwhelm, that feeling of this is going to be hard, right? And this is going to be hard, and working hard is such a cultural program too.
Totally.
How many companies I've worked for, it's part of our core values is we work hard.
Yeah.
So, but with those things, if shifting that and moving into a feeling of ease is the manifestation process, really, what you practiced right there. You caught it, you processed it, you allow those energy bundles to express, and then you consciously choose what you wanted it to be like instead. Right. And the daydream is where you tap into that. So, it's easy sometimes, I think, to say, we're going to daydream this, and you're just kind of la 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 la, oh, whatever, Yeah. But actually, really allow yourself, if you're going to daydream, feel it, allow yourself to feel it. And sometimes the daydream is all that you needed, and it satisfies that interest or that desire. And then sometimes the daydream is what then leads to manifesting the ease and that experience that you really wanted to have.
Yeah. And in this case, the daydream literally almost gave me that map or blueprint of what it could be like. Right. Because then I was daydreaming all right, what would it look like? How would it feel if it was easy? Well, I would look stuff up online, DuckDuckGo it, right? And find articles and bloggers about, here's how you do. Step 1, do. Step 2, do this. It's this is what tech people do all the time. We search for stuff and, follow the tutorial and then, something happens, ask for help. Oh yeah, I could just ask Ilia if something comes up. Yeah, okay. And then maybe someone at work who like has done this before or whatever. And then that daydream made it feel, oh, this is actually doable. It's like, okay, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Like literally, I like what I did in my daydream is what I ended up doing in reality, right?
Right.
And it made it so much easier just because it's like I had a plan
Right.
that I didn't have before. So that's the other part. Like got to that feeling, had like, a believable story into how it could unfold, and then boom, boom, boom. And then after that, it was like super easy, filled with ease, right?
Perfect.
And there were times I like got stuck and it wasn't easy, but it was filled with ease. Right. And that's a big, big distinction.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really great example.
So, yeah, overwhelm, it's like just...
You're welcome here.
Yeah. It's just, a bundle of energy. And for me, like a bad habit or almost like an addiction even of... And it's like, how is this addiction serving? Like, what is it doing? Well, it's lowering my frequency. It's making me feel powerless and feeding that victim energy. And it's like, no, like,
right.
I don't want to feel that way,
Yeah, I really love it. Like recently, and I think it was in a podcast where Larry and Inelia were talking about like the language that we use for things. So, for example, just a couple days ago, Larry and Fred were going to go to the sailboat that we have out here, or they have out here, and we were invited to go. And I said, well, no, I have to work. And then I think it was Larry even reminded me, he's like, you have to, or you choose to? And I was like, yeah, no, I choose to work because I had work that I wanted to get done. And I was like, I want to get the flow. I knew it was a great time in my day. I had like the right amount of time available that I could really focus and get some things done that I really wanted to get done. And when shifting that and saying, I choose to, and not even just choose to, I want to do this. I want to do this work. It's such a different feeling than I can't go because I have to.
I can't, it's totally giving power away, right?
I can't go because I'm choosing to do this other thing.
And that's very empowering.
That's super empowering.
Yeah.
Or I can't go because I want to. Or I'm not going to go because I want to do this other thing.
Yeah.
It's so different.
Such a difference. And gosh, and even just like becoming aware of that like changes everything.
Right.
Because then it's like, wait, do I really want to choose this? Maybe I don't.
Right.
Or maybe I do.
Yeah, is that a good choice? That's right.
And how was your experience of going to hanging out with folks at the sailboat?
Well, I didn't. I chose not to. I chose to do my work instead. So I went and I did my work. And funny enough, though, I was finished with my work, and then I sent a text to the guys to see where they're at, and they just got into the sailboat.
Oh,
so it was like
perfect.
they were running late, and then I went out and I just hung out with them. And I think Ilia and Adelina and Emil and Brett, everybody was there. And I was probably there for like a half hour because I had another meeting in the evening that I wanted to go to. So, but it was really nice. It was cool to be out there with everybody, and just like, it's a beautiful marina and it's a nice place to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I got to do both things.
Yep. Yeah. So maybe that can be a challenge this week for us. It's like, okay, how can we change this language to, or from I have to I choose to.
Right.
And then let us know, like, what will that do for you in your life?
Maybe there's things that you felt like you had to do that you aren't choosing to do anymore. Or, maybe there's things that you didn't acknowledge that you wanted, but really you do want it.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I actually
so
really
you're choosing that now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it can also be filled with ease.
Exactly.
What would it look like if it was filled with ease?
Yes. Yeah. And I know for me this week, I'm choosing to have in-breaths. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I was telling, I can't remember who it was. I was telling a friend about how we're going to your bachelorette party, and we're going up to Victoria.
BC.
Yeah.
Hey.
Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're excited for that. But I was like, yes, it's Kara's bachelorette party, which means, Kara, my experience of traveling with you is you like to sleep, you like to eat well, and it's not an overwhelm of doing a lot of things. You like to do like relaxing things. You like to take your time. That's my experience of it. Does that sound accurate?
Pretty accurate. I think it depends where
Yeah.
and what.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it depends where and what. But for a weekend out with the girls.
And we're doing spa.
Going to the spa. Yeah. I feel like
this is going to be
that's going to be
relaxing.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the kind of trip.
We'll go swimming in the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd probably go shopping and things too.
Yeah, but there are other times where like I've gone to like London or Moscow or Paris and it's like I want to see all the things.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And then I get a little burnt out and get sick.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh.
But no, not this trip. This trip is like, let's breathe in, let's hang out, lots of food, in breath, hiking,
And I think that was my feeling about this trip is like, oh, this is going to be a relaxing trip. This isn't going to be a go, stressful in some way kind of trip. And fun, of course, definitely going to be fun.
Yeah, for sure. And some trips can be really fun when they're go, right? Like, you want to see all the things.
Oh, for sure.
But then other times it's like, no, I think I just want to like, sit in the sauna or the hot tub for a couple hours and then get a tea or coffee and then maybe do it again
downtown. Go have a nice
go shopping.
Dinner.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so I think it'll be a lovely way to breathe in.
Yep.
Intake. Yep. So that's my goal. I also choose to have this week be an in-breath week as well.
Ooh, nice.
Yep. So I think we'll report back and see how it goes, right?
Yeah, we can share how we're taking our in-breath. I mean, the spa time, I can't wait. Oh my gosh. We have some friends that walk with me now who have a spa in Victoria.
Yep.
Do you remember what it's called? Okay, we'll put
it in the show notes.
Dang it. And it's like, I know it on the tip of my head. It starts with a U.
I don't know.
Dang it. Okay. Anyway, we're excited to go to the spa.
It's going to be fabulous.
They know who they are.
Yes, you know who you are. We'll post the link. But yeah, and also just knowing like that we're going to go hang out with other Walk With Me Now folks.
I know.
And our expanded tribe and have high frequency experiences and plans. And, I can't wait to like have high tea. Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
Oh, so nice. And then food, yummy organic food. And it's just going to be lovely. And
I agree.
And I think this is the other part I've learned about overwhelm and stuff. Like, it's good to like enjoy life,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love working and doing projects and stuff. It's a great way where I feel satisfaction in my life. But sometimes you just gotta like go for a stroll, with your friends in the forest or go out for lunch with, family or whatever.
Oh, that's on my list this week. Do some forest bathing if you haven't heard of it. It's not actually like bathing literally in the forest, but it's being in the forest and bathing and basking in the energy of the trees, and it's like super refreshing. I'm like, all right, make sure we're forest bathing this week for sure.
It does so much.
That's part of my in-breath.
Yeah, I think it's just such a Guy is such a great ally when it comes to breathing in and recharging and filling our cups and connecting and all this stuff.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Cool.
So let us know about your challenge for the week. Okay. What do you want to do? What do you choose to do versus what do you have to do? We'd love to hear some examples and also results from what this exercise will do. So keep us posted. You can share with us on Telegram or on our website. And we look forward to connecting and hearing from you.
Until next time.
Bye.
Ciao.